Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives, and welcome back to Jack-O-Ween, Flesh and Soul. Now that we've looked at the horrors of the flesh, let's now take a dip into the horrors of the soul with Late Night with the Devil. Jack Delroy was a popular late-night talk show host in the 1970s who went from near top of the ratings to relegated with gimmicks on his show. In a final last-ditch effort for ratings, he decides to host a live Halloween episode where they will try to communicate with a demon inhabiting a little girl who may know Jack personally. When I first heard about this movie, I was hyped. I was expecting good things. Even though it was released by Shudder, I had fairly decent expectations that were within reason for Shudder production. But not only can I say this movie set my expectations, it actually exceeded my expectations. It didn't overplay its hand, it didn't do too much, it did just the right amount. With this sort of a premise, you could do so much with so going overboard and very subtle in the way that it does it in certain ways, but it gives you just enough of a taste and suspense to actually entice you. Cameron and Colin Carnes are the makers of this film, and I've honestly never really heard of them. From what I can understand, this is their first major, big production as far as in the mainstream. And I think that they did a great job. The filming, the photography, the way it was shot in a way that wasn't overdone. The effects were good. The setting was amazing. It looked like it came straight out of the 70s. But it also had a little bit of a goofiness to it, but also a darker edge. David Dastmalchian plays Jack, and he is so good in this movie. This is a make or break kind of role. This is a role where the entirety of the whole production centers around who you get to play the TV host. How does he affect with everyone? Is he a good enough actor? And having followed his career from a long standing into this movie, I really can see him standing alone as a great actor. Many of you may know him most recently probably from the Suicide Squad movie as Polka Dot Man. Resume is so extensive and long, and he's very much into the macabre. I believe he even has his own show where he interviews people in coffins, which is awesome. And he just seems like an overall cool dude to, do this kind of thing. Like, this is straight out of a Tales from the Crypt episode. If this were an Outer Limits movie or a Tales from the Crypt movie, I would 100% believe it. You could literally slap it on there and it would totally make sense for the way the movie is made. Laura Gordon plays the doctor who interacts with the possessed little girl. The whole cast is fantastic, with relative unknowns. I do want to give a massive shout out to Ingrid Torelli, who plays Lily. She blew all of the expectations out of the water, and I was so hooked when she was on screen from beginning to end. And it's the little things that she did with the production. It's the constantly looking directly at the camera instead of the people. It's the way she actually interacts with people, where she's simultaneously innocent but conniving at the same time. It's so good the way they portrayed it, the way they build up it, and the way the conclusion is that's simultaneously satisfying and yet leaves you wanting just enough. Just like a good cliffhanger on any TV show. It's so good the way it did it. and I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, and I'm definitely going to add it to my collection. Stay tuned for more horror treats here on Jack-O-Ween.